Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
All right, 24 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Zora Harrison is in the studio. I'm chuckling because I can't wait to tell Zora what I learned this weekend. Zora is with Ocala Eye, and we're going to learn about eye care, eye health, whether it's something as maybe simple, I guess. I don't know if simple is a good word, but dry eye maybe at the low end of things, and eye surgery things are probably on the serious end of things. Everything in between. The phone lines are open if you want to call. And good morning, Zora.
Good morning.
How are you? How was your Christmas and New Year's?
It was wonderful. It was great. It's. I'm glad to be back at work, though. I have to say, I missed it.
So, have you ever had somebody say, "Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying?"
Yeah, I've had.
All right. So now, do you know there's a "See What I'm Saying" app? Have you seen the "See What I'm Saying" app?
No, I have not.
So you do a video of yourself, and it'll put a cartoon balloon next to you. And literally, people will be able to see what you're saying. It puts the text there in a cartoon balloon.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
I can't wait to use it.
Okay, see what I'm saying.
See what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, I'll write that down.
So it'd be a cartoon balloon, yeah. So I will be seeing better soon, I guess is what I wanted to say there.
Yes.
I'll be coming to see you guys. Can't stop saying the word see. Hey, you know what's going to be a great opportunity for you?
What's that?
In 2 years, when it's 2020.
I know. That's going to be our great,
this is going to be
best
an
year.
eye doctor's dream come true.
2020.
All year long.
Welcome to 2020. That's right. As quickly as 2017 passed, I guess it won't be that long.
It won't be that long at all.
We're in 2020.
It's also the year of the Olympics, don't forget.
Oh, that's right.
So you could capitalize on that.
That's absolutely true.
Do you know the gentleman who was just here? Do you know Matt Gibbs?
No.
Well, his son is in a wheelchair. He was crippled about when he was maybe 11, 12 years old in a motocross accident.
Oh, no.
And now he's like college age, but he's Olympian.
Wow.
He's one of the wheelchair Olympian guys.
Yeah.
And he's qualified for the Boston Marathon.
Oh,
right?
my gosh.
He's going to do a Disney race, I think, next week. And he's going
Are
to
they local here to Ocala?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Right on 10th Street. Is that where they are?
Yes.
That's awesome.
So they'll be doing the Olympics too. 2020 Olympics.
That's so cool. That's amazing. Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to 2020. I mean, I'd like to get through 2018, and we got a lot of good things going on at our practice in 2018.
You just never know what's going to happen in the course of a year.
You know? Don't. Absolutely not. I definitely didn't see everything that happened in 2017 happening, so it's kind of exciting.
It was a good year, though, overall for me. Hopefully it was for you.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. We had a lot of great things in my personal life and obviously Ocala Eye as well. We hired some new doctors in 2017 and sold our building in 2017.
That's right. How many doctors are actually at Ocala Eye?
Well, we have 10 ophthalmologists that are full-time owners of the practice. And then we have a retina specialist that comes in once a week or sometimes twice a week. And then we also have 2 full-time optometrists that work with our practice. And we're actually right now in the process of recruiting a new ocular plastics surgeon. So we're growing, yeah.
What is ocular plastics?
So mostly the goal in oculoplastics is for reconstruction for patients that have eyelid conditions that either can limit their vision, like ptosis or dermatoclasis. It's where the redundant or extra eyelid skin. But also we do a lot of cancer reconstruction surgery, remove a lot of cancerous lesions and things like that from the eyelids.
Wow.
And reconstruct it.
Cancerous lesions on the eyelids.
Yeah, they're not that uncommon.
Is that considered skin cancer?
It is. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we, our previous oculoplastic surgeon, he did spend a lot of time in the OR, and that's normally what they do is mostly surgery. So when you're seeing the oculoplastic surgeon, you typically need some type of surgical intervention, and it's busy here in Marion County. So we're excited to. We have 2 applicants that we are, speaking with right now. So hopefully we'll have that position filled by summer. And having, as I said, we're just kind of growing. So it's exciting.
Do you do more harm than good by wearing the wrong glasses or wearing the prescription for too long?
I don't think you can do any harm by wearing the prescription for too long, but it definitely can be taxing if you're wearing the wrong prescription. Either if it's not enough, it's not the right prescription and you're having to overfocus, or if it's too much of a prescription, and either way. So definitely some of the signs of that are fatigue. I sometimes will see people take off their glasses constantly and do that.
Thing,
and I'm like, when's the last time you had your eye examined?
Oh, really?
So, and sometimes that's just a typical, response that some people are more comfortable if they take their glasses off and rub their eyes for a minute. But we do find if the prescription is not necessarily the right prescription, that you may be you're not even realizing that you're not seeing well, but you may be frustrated in other ways.
This is maybe not a vision question or an observation, but I touch my eyes probably too much, and now I have a cold. And I've always thought that's probably how I get a cold. I rub my eyes, and the germ goes in and says, "Okay, I'm here."
I have heard that especially the nose. I know the nose is super susceptible to that, but if your eyes are irritated or dry, you just can't keep your hands away from them.
Look, I'm now scratching everything. Okay.
What are kind of some of the questions that you ask a new patient? Because sometimes there are traits that run in families.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So we want to find out, first of all, we want to know a little bit about them personally. What medicines are you using? What kind of problems are you having? And then we want to know about your family, because glaucoma is definitely something that if you have a family history of, we want to know. We like to know about diabetes, and we like to know about things that are major medical conditions. We really are interested in you as the patient, as the person, but we do want to know a little bit about your family. And a lot of times we'll see a person that has glaucoma and tell them to make sure they tell their family members that they do have that disease, so that they're aware and they're getting their eyes checked annually as well.
Well, I mean, it seems like that's kind of the way it is with all medicine, is that knowing the family history, especially the direct relatives, mom and dad, those people,
siblings.
Yeah, I'm guessing that tells you a lot. So
it does. It absolutely does.
And we do have a phone call coming in. Thank you for calling. You're on the air with Zora Harrison.
Yes, thank you. Over the holidays, we went to a party, and a good friend of mine was there, and one of his eyes was real bloodshot, and he said that he broke a blood vessel in his eye. Is that a serious condition, and will that clear up by itself?
It's not normally a serious condition, and it does typically clear up by itself. So some things that can cause that are coughing, sneezing, people that have a really bad cold or bronchitis and they cough a lot, sneeze a lot. Any kind of straining can cause that, especially in patients that are on any type of blood thinner or aspirin supplement. But if that continues to be a problem, if they get multiple occurrences, then they would want to, seek attention for that. But in most cases, they're benign, and they take, a couple of weeks to heal or to go away. It's a bruise, basically, a broken blood vessel. So the body has to reabsorb all that blood, and it goes through the same stages that a bruise does. So sometimes 2 to 3 weeks, you'll see it go away. But typically harmless.
When you go to your eye doctor for an examination, can they tell you through your eye exam that if you have high blood pressure or not?
They can tell you if they see something that makes you suspicious for it, for sure. You wouldn't want that to be the only way that you would rule out high blood pressure, but absolutely. We have checked blood pressure right there in the clinic before, because we saw things on the exam that indicated that the person potentially had high blood pressure. So, we can tell you a lot of things, but it wouldn't be a way that you would rule out that you had high blood pressure either. So.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Is the vision different, say, for mine workers that work deep into the mine and they don't get the sunlight like other people do?
I'm not sure about that. I can tell you that I'm sure they'll have some type of adjustment period, because that's how our eyes are. When we first wake up, it's been dark and black, and it takes a minute for you to adjust. But as far as them having any type of change to the eye due to that, I'm not aware. I would think not. I would think that there was, unless there was some type lack of, oxygen or something like that, I couldn't imagine it making any type of permanent effect. But probably for a while, they would have a little bit of trouble adjusting to new light if they weren't exposed to that, a lot.
The phone lines are open if you have a question about eyeglasses and eyes and eye health in general. Do you can you fill in the blank for me? If you are experiencing blank, you should see an eye doctor.
If you are experiencing blurred vision,
Definitely, yes.
glare, halos,
Yes.
things around your headlights, or sometimes patients will say, when I walk outside, even with my sunglasses, it's so glary I can't see.
Oh, really?
Those are all signs that you'd want to come in and see us. But most of all, if you haven't had an eye exam in the last year, get an eye exam.
I know, I'm coming. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there.
Yeah, it really is important to have a yearly eye exam. It doesn't take much time, and it's just a really good preventative part of your health.
I'm so looking forward to it. But here's why. And Robin hears this. What's the word? Ad nauseum? No, I hate that
Ad
word.
nauseum.
I hate ad nauseum. but anyway, so I say it a lot. So right now I'm fine. Okay, if I drive right now, I'm fine. But at night,
Yeah.
with all the lights coming at me and going away from me, the red lights.
Yes.
It's like okay.
Yeah.
It's too much, especially if I'm in an unfamiliar area. We were
Sure.
in the Disney area, and there was so many cars.
Yeah.
It was like, holy cow, I really got to get better glasses.
You do, and that's one of the things that makes a difference between a really good pair of glasses and an inexpensive pair of
Yeah,
glasses.
I know.
Is the material they're made
And you
of.
know that lady that tells you, when possible, make a U-turn. You know that lady?
Yes,
okay.
I do know
I
her.
have one of those ladies in my car. And she says, at exit 86, make a right. Mm-hmm. Holy cow, I can't see the number.
Oh,
It's
yeah, it's
was that
time.
86? I think it's at 86.
Oh, no. I think you're in the same boat. It's funny. After the travel season, we actually get more calls. Patients that are traveling that maybe had not been traveling for a while, and they're used to their area. They get on the road and they start traveling. They call
Yes.
us and say, okay, I couldn't see the street signs, or I was in an unfamiliar area and I felt uncomfortable driving.
Yes.
So we do see an increase in calls in January or around the holiday seasons in general, where a patient may not notice it because you're used to your surroundings and maybe perhaps you aren't even looking
Yeah.
at the signs, and then you go on to a road trip or vacation and say, oh, well,
you
maybe
know
I'm not seeing so well.
A similar thing. My eyes were perfect when I went to Quebec with my son. He was maybe 15 or so. And so now he's 30, so it was like 15 years ago for me. We went up to Quebec where everything's in French.
Right.
And so the word for next exit, I can't remember it now. But I had to learn it. Otherwise, I would,
Oh,
because
yeah.
it doesn't, you know how some English words look like
Yes.
foreign language?
Yes.
Next
Not this
exit
one.
doesn't look like next exit. So it was almost like that, but now I'm in an English speaking place, of course, and it's the vision now that's causing the problems. I hate this. It's like you don't want to admit you're getting old.
Well, and sometimes it's not even a sign of getting old. It's just the way it is. We see it in teenagers. A lot of times we
guess
find
so,
it in
yeah,
college
yeah.
students. They've made it through high school. They're in college and they're saying, "Gosh, I'm reading a lot and I'm studying and I'm getting headaches and my vision is starting to blur." So they come in for their eye exam. We're like, "Okay, you
Here's the
probably need
problem.
a prescription." So. Or we can give you a little something to help relax that, and that really makes a difference. And the other thing that we have found a lot of patients complaining of is since the increased utilization of tablets and computers, the eye strain. You're sitting there and you're looking at it for hours on end sometimes. So patients come in and they say, "What can you do?" And we get them in something that helps reduce that contrast or glare. And just that one little thing, even non-prescription, will help them to feel more comfortable. And so we do see that quite often, that, it's not age-related as much as it's just,
Well, thank you.
you need it.
I think in my case it might be, though, but thank you for that.
How about people that have high anxiety and they come in for an eye exam? Can
Yeah,
you
that
tell
would
if
be
they have
me.
high
I'll tell
anxiety
you.
and tell them to come back when they're calmer? Or?
Well, you know what we do? We just walk them through it. I'll be honest, I have lots of anxiety when it comes to that. I don't like my eyes to be touched. And so someone that's worked in the profession for as long as I have, I still have anxiety about that. What you have to do is you just have to explain to them as you're going through the process and be patient. Once the patient gets there and they realize that we've got lots of alternative methods for doing things that is, makes them feel more comfortable or calmer, they usually get through the eye exam just fine. The biggest step is to make the appointment. It's almost like when you go to the cleaning. You probably have made yourself more worked up about your dental cleaning than it really is. Same thing with the eye exam. We're very patient, and our technicians and doctors are very skilled with this because we understand. It's not easy to know that you're going to have something touching your eye or lots of measurements done on your eye or ask lots of questions about your vision. So we just try to take it slow, and we really have never had a situation where we couldn't get through an eye exam.
So the text question is, how can I improve my vision without eyeglasses, and are there foods that will improve my eyesight?
That's a hard question.
Wow. We
always will say green leafy vegetables is good, and that's just because of the antioxidants, and that antioxidants are good for your whole body. The things that you can do to improve your vision that's kind of a tough question as well, because it depends on what's making your vision not great.
Right.
There are muscle exercises in some situations, or what we call patching in some situations that work, but those are typically in children. They have not proven to be successful with adults.
Because we're kind of set, right? Everything's
It's
done
interesting
growing
how the brain is. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, there are circumstances where they work with adults and do some rehab whenever a patient's lost an eye or something of that nature. But in most cases, the best thing you can do for your vision is have an overall exam with your primary care and make sure everything that is functioning well in your body, your blood pressure is good, your blood sugar is good, your endocrine system is working well, and then have an eye exam and make sure there's no need for glasses, because there's really not any way to substitute glasses. If you have a refractive error, you have to treat it.
It's going to be my direction. So I have a story from myself when I was in 4th grade. Mrs. Foster was my teacher. And I was at my desk, and suddenly I couldn't see. Everything went white. And not black, but white. And so I got up. I knew how to get to her desk, Mrs. Foster's desk. And I said, Mrs. Foster, I can't see anything.
Wow.
And she said, well, go down to the nurse's office. And as soon as I started walking toward the door, because I didn't even say, I can't see. How can I get there? I just was going to, it started coming back. What do you think that was? I often wondered if
Both eyes went white.
because, I'm tall. And I was always tall as a kid. And I was wondering, well, maybe I was just growing too fast for my body. Or what? You know how they say you have...
Yeah, well, I don't know about the vision going white. If I can tell you this, if you were to experience that as an adult, that would be something that I would not actually call my ophthalmologist for. I would probably call 911, because
Like a blood thing, right?
It could be that you had some kind of vascular or circulation, change in circulation. So, but it's interesting that you asked that question, because we've had patients call us and say, I was sitting there and my vision in one eye went completely black for 10 minutes and came back. So immediately we say, call your primary care or go to an emergency room. You need to be
Really?
seen. Yes.
In that case, it went black.
And that in most cases it does, but typically in most cases doesn't happen in both eyes. I suppose it could, but most cases we hear patients calling in, it's in one eye.
And is it a blood pressure thing or?
Well, it could be. It's hard to tell.
Diabetes
it can be
thing,
a
maybe?
sign that you're going to have a stroke. It could be a sign that you've got some, like I said, some issues with the circulation or issues with the blood flow. So we want to rule all of those things out. We want to say what's going on that would have made this patient's vision go black and then come back.
I guess we didn't know those things back then, huh?
No,
Just go to the
no.
nurse's station.
And then there's things that they can, I've heard that patients that are going to pass out or have what they call a vagal response, they will typically say that their vision went smoky or cloudy and they passed out. So I don't know. I mean, obviously our brain controls our vision and our visual system. So there are some things that manifest in the eye that can be signs of other things, but it would be hard to say
I often
exactly
wondered
what
if she
happened.
believed me. I often wondered if she didn't think I was just trying to get out of class,
And that would have been a very scary thing to experience, Very scary.
It came back relatively quickly. It was like once it was back, I was like, okay, I'm, and I didn't even need to lay down. But you go to the nurse's thing.
They're going to make you lay down.
Just lay down.
Drink some water and lay down. That cures everything.
Should a woman come and get her eyes examined if she's pregnant, or should she wait?
Absolutely. If she's having having a problem, you want to see her. But it's not the best time to be fitted for contacts or glasses because we know that being pregnant can make changes in our hormones, and those can all affect the vision. So if you're having a problem, don't not call the doctor because you're pregnant. You would want to call your ophthalmologist or optometrist. But it may not be the best time to schedule your annual eye exam with all those changes going on.
Really?
In your
I
body.
wouldn't have even thought there was a connection, but I guess there is.
Oh,
Huh?
absolutely.
Why? Because of the blood and all that?
It's mostly hormones. We don't really recommend eyeglass changes. Now, sometimes we have to give you an eyeglass change because you're due for it. But it can make your prescription change a little bit, or sometimes a lot. So, they'll bring you in sometimes and say, okay, we're going to give this to you now. It may be temporary.
Yeah.
And you may have to change it again. But if you're talking about just having your routine annual eye exam, it's probably not the best time to schedule that. But absolutely, if you're having a problem or, if something has changed, you're not seeing well, you should come in and have that evaluated.
So how about if men have the hormone replacements and things? Will that affect their vision also?
I'm not
On
sure.
that end of
Do
the
men get
spectrum?
that?
I think they do.
I never had anyone tell me I need that. I hope I don't.
Well, I was actually just reading an article a couple of weeks ago about more and more men that are having hormone replacement therapy. But I don't know that I know the answer to whether or not it makes a difference. I assume it could. I assume that any type of
I have
change
so many
in the
questions
body
that have
could.
nothing to do with eyes.
But you know what? It's so funny that it all can manifest through the eyes. I mean, we get calls of, I started a new medicine and my vision is blurry,
Oh, that I understand.
And we
yeah.
say, you need to call the doctor and tell the doctor that you started a new medicine and see what the doctor says. So
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. I'm assuming if it can affect women, it perhaps could affect men.
And are you guys intertwined to the family doctors and to your
Yeah.
ophthalmologist there, where you can just call up your history on
Absolutely.
the computer?
We
and
do.
everything?
We any of the local providers that use an EHR that speaks to an electronic health record that speaks to ours, we can upload the data. It's very nice.
Oh, okay.
What's amazing to me with these visits is how much knowledge you have. I mean,
Oh, well, thank
we're
you.
picking your brain constantly about these things.
18 and a half years of working at Ocala High. So
Did you see a lot of family during the holidays?
I did. It
Does
was
everybody ask you about eyes, or do they go to other
not
subjects?
really. not really. I guess because I've worked here so long, every once in a while I get a call. Somebody will say, what about this? But typically, no.
Yeah.
I guess it's just we're all in some type of profession in my family. So
Do you have any little
I guess-
children in your family that will say to you, are you an aunt?
I am an aunt.
And
Yeah.
any little ones?
The youngest one is my niece and my daughter, and they're 11.
Okay.
So most of them are.
Are they wearing glasses
in their
at that age?
20s.
I'm just curious.
I have none of mine that wear glasses.
Okay.
Not one of them. Well, one of them that could potentially need them, but she doesn't wear them. But my oldest
And
niece.
getting back to my youth, I had a blinking problem, and they prescribed glasses to me.
Oh,
and
wow.
I would never wear them. I was
Yeah.
always ashamed to wear them.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
That is very common. We do hear that.
Yeah.
I don't want to wear these. I mean, honestly, we see that in adults.
Well, I'm going to wear mine. I don't care anymore. When I was a kid, I was so vain. Not anymore.
Yeah.
I don't care what they look like.
That's right.
As long as I can see well.
So you had a blinking issue, and they.
Apparently, yeah.
Huh.
I don't remember it, but I had a blinking issue, and
Not winking, but blinking.
Were you
No, not
sure? Maybe
winking.
he was just a big winker and nobody knew that. That's awesome.
And every person's eye is different. I know my daughter started wearing glasses when she was in 5th grade, and my son is 40 now, and he still doesn't need glasses.
Wow.
So it all
Amazing.
depends
Very
up to
different.
the individual.
Absolutely.
well, Zora, always good to see you.
You as well.
What's the number of it at Ocala Eye we
It's
can call?
352-622-5183.
All right. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Tell everybody at Ocala Eye we said
I
Happy
will.
New Year.
My whole gang will be back next week.
And in 2 years, I can't wait to say Happy 2020.
Yes, that's right.
Happy
I'm going to
2020.
put it on my calendar.
Thank you, Zora.
All right. Thank you.
We will be right back.